Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ball and Breakfast podcast with Wayne. I'm Patrick, coming to you with week 13, where you have our 5 matchups that we're going to cover tonight. The first one starting on Thursday, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Man, Cowboys, at home, this is always a very dangerous team. I think I read a stat that they average 41 points at home. They're 5-0 at home. Gino, he's been a little banged up of late. So something to keep an eye on there. Obviously, he is most likely going to be playing in this Thursday night game. And then Deron Bland, too, has just been playing at an elite level. Like, who would have thought? Like, when I saw Trevon Diggs go down, I'm like, okay, maybe the defense, this isn't their year. But talk about, making the most of your opportunity here. 7 interceptions, 13, pass deflections. I feel he definitely is like setting himself up for, some defensive player of the year nominations. In my opinion, breaking the record right for touchdowns or for interceptions returned for touchdowns in a season, right? Like that's just nuts. So, kudos to him. But yeah, back to I guess more of the game itself. Seahawks have lost 3 of the last 4 games, and now looking ahead, I guess the Seahawks, they have the Cowboys, they got the 49ers, Eagles. That's a really tough next couple of games for them. A little bit easier afterwards, Titans, Steelers, Cardinals. So, I feel like right now they're going to be trying to like, okay, let's see if we can get maybe 1 out of 3 from these teams. I just don't think it's going to be the Cowboys here. Cowboys, they're favored by 9 points. I'm going to choose the over. With the way I think the Seahawks been playing, not playing the best brand of football at the moment. Cowboys at home, like I mentioned, they just been killing it. Like if Dak Presscott, if we just took his stats, if you just played at home all the time, you got the MVP. You got Peyton Manning, throwing 50 touchdowns in a season here, but that's just not the case. And yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to pick Cowboys. Yeah, getting that 40-point marker. I just feel like the Cowboys have a lot of momentum going on. Seahawks just not playing the best brand of football. And then, yeah, also the Cowboys, the schedule's getting tougher too. With the Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, and the Lions coming up. So I think for them, they're like, hey, we got to take care of business here and see if we can get maybe a couple games from those tough teams there. But yeah, picking Cowboys winning and going over the 9 points.
Yeah. I mean, a 45-10 shellacking on Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving, primetime games, like anything can really happen for them to come out and just take care of business. It's pretty impressive, despite, a weaker, Commanders opponent. But, in general, like at this point, the second half, so far for Dak, he's played MVP type football. Like no questions asked about that. I mean, the fact that they're more prone to beat up on the mediocre to bad opponent is something to always keep your eye on. Like I feel like there are those teams where, kind of like the Dolphins, they get to those, tougher elite matchups and, it's anyone's guess who's going to show up there for the Cowboys. But, as long as they take care of business against most of the teams they play, there's not many elite teams around, the league itself. So I think they're totally capable of, beating the Seahawks this week. I mean, for me, Seahawks definitely feel like a team that's, on the decline. Gino was a little bit banged up, but he's also just kind of off the mark this year. I mean, had another, uninspiring game, last week against, the Niners. Charbonnet was spelling Kenneth Walker, didn't really do a whole lot with his carries. The receiving core, like they just went off what Gino was giving them. So it wasn't really like anyone was really standing out, on the offensive side of things. There weren't a lot of really silver linings there. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but they just absolutely took it to them on the defensive side of things. And now they go up against the Cowboys, who's, probably a pretty similar setup as a Niners type team. And it's like, it's just going to be tough sledding for them. Something's happened in Dallas in terms of, getting Pollard to kick it back into, his own gear and, really starting to get Brandon Cooks involved in the offense too. Like, not just depending on CeeDee Lamb to carry the entire load for that team. And, Parsons is still just a disruptor, on defense, easily one of the best, players in the league. So I'm with you. I think they can win by 10 points or more. I mean, I think that's a fair bet to place. So, I don't have maybe as much burning desire to place that over, but I would say comfortably, like, I think they can beat them by 10 points.
Yeah, for sure. And the way even like pre, I guess Geno Smith being hurt more so, he just hasn't been playing his best. So factor in the Cowboys and that defense that's creating turnovers, getting pressure with Micah Parsons, right? Like this is going to be a really tough matchup on the road for the Seahawks here. Seahawks obviously having that home field advantage. If they were to have that, like this could definitely be a different game. But for whatever reason, right, the Cowboys being in that big giant stadium over there, they're just a different beast. And yeah, this just is kind of unfortunate, I guess, to happen here. But I think looking ahead for the Seahawks, if they can, the Titans, Cardinals, I think those are two games that they can, probably get off from there. And then they're still, I think that right now the 6th seed. So we'll see if they're able to, make the playoffs. I think it's going to be them and either the Rams, depending on how those teams match up. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. I think an easy road for the Seahawks to make the playoffs there. And then the Rams, it's kind of just getting their footing and seeing if they can beat these top level teams, right? Because I think that's kind of been their whole mo. And if they are able to do get a nice road victory against some of these competitive teams here, then I think that's just some things to look forward to. I think the next couple weeks here.
For sure.